everybody. This is Leah Cheshire, and I am glad that you are here. May have some people join us a little bit later. I did get some texts and messages from people who said they could not attend live, which is perfectly fine because I'm going to be sending out the recording tomorrow morning. And so anyway, I'm just very glad that you're here. And so it is already 4:01. So let's go ahead and get started. So I am Leah Cheshire, and I'm glad that you are here. We are going to talk about the fastest ways that you can increase your energy for good. And it doesn't involve caffeine or supplements. And so I hope that you can hear me. If for some reason you can't, please pop it into the chat. And if you have any questions, you can pop it into the chat too. We'll have a Q&A time at the end. I would ask that when you join to minimize your video and also mute yourself just for the sake of recording and everything. So, but I'm glad that you're here. And let me give this disclaimer. I am not a doctor. I'm a health and wellness coach. This information is for educational purposes only and is not meant to be for medical advice. And so I would always ask that you check with your own medical practitioner before starting any kind of nutritional or lifestyle modifications. And so I'm just mentioned a minute ago that go ahead and mute yourself when you come in, and also video on your video, just go ahead and minimize that as well, and that way that'll just help with the recording and all. But I'm so glad for those of you who are going to be able to join us live, and those of you who are going to watch this later on as well. All right, let me see if I can fix this real quick. Okay, there we go. All right. And so if you have any questions, just pop it into the chat for me and I'll answer those at the end. All right, so let's take a few minutes and I'd like for you to describe your current energy level, or just think about it on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 is you can't even get out of bed, and 10 is that you are very energetic, you're able to get out, and that you are able to jump out of bed with a lot of energy and all. So if that is you, go ahead and pop a 1 to a 10 into the chat. All right, let me admit we have one more person coming. And so, all right, welcome everybody who is coming in. Okay, so I was just saying that on a scale of 1 to 10, pop into the chat what your current energy level is, whether you think that you're a 1 to a 10 or somewhere in between. Okay, so I see a 6. All right, that's not a 1, so that's better than a 1 as well. And so those of you who are watching the recording, just go ahead and do this at home when you're watching as well. And that way you can, just kind of get an idea of where you are. All right. So we got a 6 and we have an 8. Hey, the 8's, that's pretty good. And the 6, like I said, it's better than 50%. So that's good as well. So I hope with some of the things we're going to talk about today that you'll be able to bump up your energy levels a little bit more as well. All right. So do you wake up feeling already tired and you want to keep hitting the snooze button just to get a few more minutes of sleep? What about as you're going through your day, are there certain times of your day that you just feel kind of lethargic and just really tired and maybe just kind of blah? You feel like you lack energy to really engage in your life? Well, I want you to know you can get your energy back and you can stop feeling like you have to keep hitting that snooze button over and over and over again in the morning. So no matter what your energy feels like today, there are some things that you can do to help shift And I am going to show you some of those today. All right, so let's imagine that if you had stable energy, if your energy level felt so good that when you woke up in the morning, um, you had a tremendous amount of energy, like a 9.5 or a 10 on that scale, and it went on that way all the way till bedtime. You'd probably be able to handle stress better, right? And I know stress is a biggie that I hear about from a lot of people, my clients and just people in groups and just people in general that I talk to. You'd also be a lot more patient with yourself and with other people in your life, right? You'd be able to think more clearly, not have the brain fog, and be a lot more productive because you'd have more energy to get things done. And you'd be able to enjoy your life and do the things that you really enjoy doing, right? Think about what all that would mean for you and your relationships and your work life, volunteering, your mental, your emotional, your physical, and your spiritual health. And you'd be able to enjoy that time with family and friends that a lot of us want to do, right? But sometimes we lack so much energy that we don't even feel like we can enjoy that time because we're exhausted by the time the end of the day comes. So you're in the right place if you want to learn how to have more patience with your family, friends, and even your coworkers. And if you feel like your lack of energy gets in the way of you exercising regularly. I hear about this from people who say, I really want to start exercising, Leah, but I just don't have any energy to even get up and take a little walk around the block. And you're in the right place if you want to prepare some simple but healthy meals for yourself, but you just feel so exhausted right now, you don't think you could even attempt preparing a meal. And if you just feel exhausted and drained from when you sit down and take a break, then you're in the right place. So before I go any further, I know most of you that are here live, but I do have some new people who are going to be watching this replay. So you may be saying, well, what does this person named Leah, what does she even know about energy? Well, I do know firsthand what it's like to feel extremely tired and overwhelmed, and that you don't have enough energy to feel productive and motivated and have that sense of joy. So my story goes back a number of years, and it was mainly after I became a mom. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I was addicted to caffeine and sugar. Now, mine was really in the form of chocolate, any kind of chocolate. And that is a perfect blend of sugar and caffeine, right? Now, I've never been a coffee lover. I love the smell of it. My husband drinks it every morning, and I love the smell of it, but I just haven't ever really cared for the taste. So my vice was the chocolate and anything sugar. And that kept my blood sugar levels and my cortisol levels all over the place. And no matter what I tried to do, I couldn't figure out how to stabilize them. And so I was tired all the time, morning, noon, in the afternoon, and even in the nighttime. I kind of had this tired but wired feeling. I don't know if you've ever felt that way. And we're going to talk about that more in just a few minutes. But I'd wake up in a fog. I couldn't function without my morning caffeine in like my hot teas and my hot cocoa that had sugar in it and chocolate, or I would sneak chocolate in a cookie or candy. And oftentimes it would be because, I had to make those for my kids, right? And I would sneak them. Well, my energy would crash in the afternoon time. And I lived for the time when my husband would walk in the door and I could just hand him the kids and I could go lie down and take a nap or rest, right? And then I was still out of shape with baby weight. And I thought, well, I just need to go to the gym. So then I went the other end and started over exercising. And that didn't work either. And so it was kind of a painful way to live. My energy was fluctuating with the caffeine and sugar. And then that also led to more anxiety and depression and moodiness. And now, I had my children later in life. I was in my late 30s, but I really didn't think I should be feeling that way at that age, right? But I felt really old. And then we lost 3 babies to miscarriages, and later found out that I had Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is an autoimmune disease that affects your thyroid gland. And that can also cause more energy depletion because your thyroid's in charge of your metabolism. But nobody had figured any of that out. And so then I developed some digestive issues and all. But things changed for me when I actually met a health coach. I reached out, I hired a health coach, which is what I do now. And I became a client and I learned everything I can. I did the protocols and just learned. And it had been a process of years with family that I had been kind of doing this, but that just kind of cemented everything. And then I felt like God was calling me to go back to school and be trained as a health coach. And then I got more advanced training and became a national board certified health and wellness coach, which is what I do now. So the strategies that we're going to be talking about today are ones that I did use for myself, but also I use with my clients so that I was able to end the fatigue that was awful all the time. And if you are experiencing that, I do empathize with you because it doesn't feel good. But I want you to know there are some things that you can do starting today. All right, so I didn't have the afternoon energy crash anymore. I was able to start exercising in a way that felt good, not over exercising, but enough to help with my weight and stress management and help my moods. And I had energy to do things, spend time with my family. My kids were little, and as they got older, and with friends, and also do some hobbies, like walking and biking. And I like to do hiking, time with friends. I'm active at my church, volunteering, and then my work. And then I also, did some more digging with my thyroid condition. But I found out that I was able to start feeling better. And so that's what I want for you as well. So I use some of these things as well as some of my training with my clients. And let me tell you a little bit about what they've experienced. So they have stopped relying on caffeine to get through the day, and they have found healthy foods that really do help their bodies and minds. They began waking up with their alarm clock. I don't know. There's some people out there who wake up all the time without an alarm clock, other people who need the alarm clock or they cannot get out of bed. But ideally, we should be able to wake up in the morning without an alarm clock. The clients were also having greater focus and concentration at work and at home. They felt more motivated, productive during the day, and they were just enjoying their life and feeling a lot more fulfilled. So it led me to start offering my Get Your Energy Back workshop like I'm doing today, as well as my program also. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. So today, here's what we are going to cover. We're going to talk about 6 culprits that may be robbing you of your energy. One simple strategy you can start doing immediately to avoid that afternoon 3 p.m. crash. The fastest ways to increase your energy for good without the caffeine or the supplements, and you may be relying especially on the caffeine now. 5 powerhouse energy boosting foods that you can start eating today or even tomorrow, and some simple habits that are going to improve your quality of sleep so you can actually wake up feeling refreshed. And I'm going to share as much as I can in the time that we have today. I know your time is valuable, so I'm not going to go long. We're going to be here about 30 minutes, and that's it. And so we're going to talk about just kind of a few of those things right now. So, and because you are joining me live, I'm going to send you this free guide. It has energy boosting recipes in it, and you can eat them, you can prepare them. And I think if you incorporate them into your daily life, it's going to really help with some of the meal prep and just help you start feeling better as well. And I'm going to be sharing a few other resources for you on how you can take this and work further as well. And if you're ready to make a change and you want my personal help, I'm going to share how to do that at the end too. All right. So let's go ahead and start talking about the 6 culprits that may be robbing you of your energy. So the first one is lack of daily habits that are nourishing. Having unbalanced blood sugar is number two. Number three is a compromised adrenal health or other medical or other health conditions, like perimenopause, menopause, thyroid, autoimmune. We're going to talk a little bit more about the adrenals later on. Not exercising or even over exercising. Number five is challenges managing stress. And the last one is lack of quality sleep. So we don't have time to go into all of those today, but today I'm going to go over just a few that'll give you the quickest win. So let's take a look at the three most common daily habits that I've really found are the top energy stealing offenders in clients and myself as well. And as I go along, just notice if you've made any of these mistakes, and remember, no judgment, no shame, because I've been there, okay? So the first offender is lack of quality sleep. And in the past few weeks, I've been sending you some emails. We've been talking a little bit on Facebook Live about sleep, but I'm gonna go into a little bit more in detail right now. We know good quality sleep is vital to having energy. Without it, you're going to struggle with fatigue. Now, that seems like a no-brainer, but the good quality sleep, those are the key words. And here's kind of a startling statistic. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, about 1 in 3 adults in the United States reported that they don't get enough rest or sleep a day. That is a third of our population. I mean, and we wonder why we see road rage and why people aren't patient with one another. But if you're not sleeping or resting, then you're not going to have patience. You're not going to have, you're just not going to feel good to treat people right and be able to uphold your responsibilities, right? All right, let's talk about why. Well, the number one reason is too much screen time and not enough time in the sunlight. Many people work in front of screens all day long. And I know because of the past few years, we've kind of gone that way. And I know I work on my computer a lot. I'm sure some of you out there do as well. But we work in front of that all day long. And then at night, we relax in front of a phone or we scroll on our TV, right? And so we are also spending less time outside in the fresh air and the sunlight. And it can really cause some sleep issues because it throws off our circadian rhythms, okay? The circadian rhythm, another name for that is just your body's clock, okay? It's what tells us when to go to sleep and when to wake up. And our circadian rhythm is really affected by exposure to light. And so if you're in sunlight, it can really help to increase your alertness during the day. That's one reason why I highly recommend you get out into the sunlight within the first 30 minutes to an hour of you waking up, okay? Now, light from electronic devices at night, though, can kind of confuse our biological clocks, and it can cause us to feel alert even if we're exhausted. I don't know if you've ever had where your eyes start getting really sleepy, maybe 8:30, 9:30, and then somebody in your family wants to watch something on TV and you're like, well, okay. And so you turn on your TV or you start watching it or you start looking at something on your iPad or phone. And then all of a sudden you have this surge of energy when a few minutes ago you could have just dropped off. Well, that's because you're confusing your biological clock that really knew it was time to go to bed, right? And so this is kind of that tired and wired feeling that I was talking about the other day that I've experienced, and you might have as well. So on average, just think about it. How many hours do you think you're on a screen each day? Think about it just a minute. And if you want to, you can put it in the chat box. My iPad and my phone, and yours probably will do this too, it'll let me know how many hours I was on my screen. And sometimes I'm kind of surprised how many I'm on. Now, I'm looking at webinars and I'm listening to podcasts, so some of that is work related. But, sometimes when it'll pop up many hours, I'm like, wow, I can't believe I was really on that much. So it's good to go, and you can look in your settings and you can kind of do like a little survey to see how much time you're actually on a screen during the day. So one of the solutions is just like I mentioned a few minutes ago, get outside into the sun in the morning, try to be out there for 5 to 10 minutes. You can take a walk or just go outside. You can sit in your backyard, you can journal, you can pray, you can even have your breakfast out there, but getting some morning light is going to help reset your biological clock. Another thing you can do is in the evening when the sun is getting ready to go down, like at dusk, go outside and spend some time out there, even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes, because the sun will be going down. And sometimes that can help reset your biological clock to know, hey, it's time to wind down, it's time for bed. And so all of this is going to help reset your natural circadian rhythm, which is going to help you be more alert during the day, sleepier in the evening, and then you'll have better quality sleep so that you'll wake up a little bit better rested. All right, another reason is that that so many of us are not getting quality sleep is we really lack sleep hygiene. So you may say, well, what is that, Leah? Oh, okay. Somebody is saying 3 hours back to about how much screen time. Yeah, I was amazed. Mine one day was showing like 5 hours. And I'm like, really? I'm not like, just goofing off, but some of it's work related. And then somebody else said, go outside with the mosquitoes. I know in Southern Louisiana, we have to worry about that, don't we? Well, maybe you can go out for a couple of minutes and then just run back in. Okay, so what is sleep hygiene? It basically refers to a set of practices and habits that promote healthy and restful sleep. Sometimes we think about this as only being for little kids, right? That they need a certain sleep hygiene and routine. However, to boost your energy long term, being in charge of sleep hygiene is really the key, okay, to restorative sleep. You want this to be forever. You don't want to just a week or two to start getting your sleep under control. You want this to be for the rest of your life, right? So you can actually transform your sleep patterns, and by implementing some of the things, and I'm going to go into some details in just a minute to help you with that sleep. All right, so creating a sleep sanctuary is so important. Now, we know that a sanctuary, we typically hear about that like in a church where it's very quiet and peaceful. Well, that's what you're wanting to have for your bedroom as well. So let's talk about some practical strategies. All right, first off, what's the best lighting for sleep? Now, I know, everybody knows, oh, you turn off the lights in your bedroom when you're going to sleep. However, about an hour before you're going to start going to bed, it's good to turn off the lights in your whole house. Turn off the kitchen lights, turn off your overhead in your living room or your den, wherever you are. Just have on lamps. And it creates a homier, kind of a quieter atmosphere. It starts letting your biological clock know, oh, it's time to start winding down. It's a little bit softer than the bright lights. And that's going to help you just transition into that restorative sleep, which is what we're wanting. Another thing, and we were talking about the screen use, is avoiding that screen use about an hour before bed. Your phone, your tablets, even laptops, just turning that off. And you can also, in your bedroom, you can use blackout curtains or blinds, and that can create darkness. I know a lot of people really need it super dark, so that's an option, and they're not that expensive, to buy at like Walmart or a home store. Okay, optimal temperature for sleep. Now, this one can be debatable when you're married, because I know some women who are in perimenopause / early menopause, they are very hot and their husbands do not like this. Other times it's the reverse, but Scientists do say that ideal room temperature for sleeping is between 60 to 67. Now, that sounds pretty cold to me because I tend to be pretty cold natured, but really it's meant to be like that once you're in bed with the covers over you. Okay, so you might be cold before you go to bed, but once you have the covers over you, that's going to help you sleep a little bit better. Also, look at your bedding materials. Try to get more natural fibers like cotton or bamboo. That kind of helps promote airflow, and that'll help your body temperature be a little bit more regulated than, say, like a wool or even like a polyester blend. There's some noise reduction techniques that you might want to try for sleep. I know we did these with some of my children growing up, but these are great for adults as well. White noise machines or a fan, and there's apps now that, of course, that you can use. Like there's the Calm, and you can set it for rain or ocean waves, or you can even set it for the white noise. That sometimes helps drown out disruptive noises. If you have noisy neighbors, also creates kind of a calming atmosphere. Earplugs are one. If you're sensitive to noise, minimize disturbances by using earplugs. This is actually something that I use when we lived in our old house many years ago. One of our neighbors was a technician, and he was out super early in the morning, like 5:30, and loading up his truck and kind of banging. And I just couldn't sleep. So I started using earplugs. And so I still use them today. And especially when traveling, some people really find that they're useful, and that helps you not wake up due to other noise. Another thing you can do is look at your bedroom. I know a lot of people are going to hardwood or laminate floors. They don't have carpet in their bedrooms, but you want to provide some kind of soundproofing. And so you can just add some throw rugs, put some curtains up rather than just the blinds. That's going to absorb some sound. And even some acoustic panels can help as well. And establish that bedtime routine that I was talking about a few minutes ago. We think only with our kids or our grandkids we need to do it, but really adults need it as well. Go to sleep and wake up at the same time every day, even on the weekends. Now, I know those of you who have to rise really early, you may want to sleep an extra 30 minutes, but what I'm talking about here is don't try to sleep an extra 3 hours, because then you're going to mess yourself up for during the day as well. And create a consistent routine that's going to signal you that it's time for you to get ready to go to sleep, right? Some activities like you're going to close up your electronic devices, right? So reading an old-fashioned book, that's not providing any glare, that's not going to disrupt your circadian rhythm. A warm bath or shower can help relax you. If you take a bath, you could even put some Epsom salts in there. It has a little magnesium that can help calm you down, and it promotes relaxation. Doing maybe some gentle stretches, not any exercise, high intensity within 2 to 3 hours before bed, but all of those can help you transition from being super busy to relaxed. So, everybody's going to have their own personal preference. So just experiment with some of these strategies and see what's going to work best for you. You want to create a sleep-friendly environment. All right, this is a story from Chris, a client, and she said that she used to scroll on her phone as a way to de-stress when she got into bed. And I know a lot of people do this, right? But she found out that the bright lights were making her stay awake longer, and they're addictive. They pull you in. I mean, I'm sure we've all done this, where we're going to just look at something for 5 minutes and we look up and 30 minutes or longer has gone by, right? So Chris was staying up later than she wanted to because she started scrolling, and then she would wake up in the middle of the night. But we talked about some of these sleep strategies, and it was a challenge at first, but she just took some small steps and eventually became a new habit for her. And one thing she did do, and I forgot to mention this earlier, is she actually bought some blue light glasses to wear at night. So, you know, even like after dinner, you could put on blue light glasses while you are looking at your phone or your tablet or whatever. And that helps keep out that stimulating light that can mess up your biological circadian rhythms. And so she would wear the blue light glasses, and then she would put her phone in the kitchen about an hour before bed. She'd read a book, and then she wouldn't have the phone near her, and so it wouldn't disturb her in the middle of the night. And she said, you know, it was hard at first, but then it ended up becoming so easy that she wished she would have tried it sooner, because then she was getting a full night's restful sleep and she felt more alert and focused during the day. Okay, offender number 2 that I see quite often is people skipping meals and snacks. Now, when we skip meals and snacks and we eat at inconsistent times, our blood sugar and our energy levels are just on this roller coaster all day long, right? And when we do that, you know, we think sometimes that it's harmless, but really it is creating a stress in our body. And stress does not equal sleep and rest, okay? And so it doesn't equal health. So you don't want to create stress, whatever that's due to. So when you skip meals and you just eat on and off, that's going to cause more stress. And then that's going to make your energy levels up and down, and fluctuating all day long. And all of that is very hard on you, not just physically, but emotionally. You know, it's going to lead to sugar cravings, those caffeine cravings, and it's going to cause mood issues. You know, some of the depression, the irritability, the anxiety, all of that. When we skip meals and we eat so erratically, that's going to lead to emotional and physical poor health. Okay, so what's one solution? It's just to start some simple meal planning and prepping. You know, if you always have some healthy options of food on hand that will provide energy, then you're not going to skip meals. Now, I don't mean you have to fix a full course meal, but just having some healthier options in your fridge or your freezer or your pantry, that's going to really help you. So here's another client, Melissa. She has a really busy job. She's on the road a good bit. And she often found that, you know, she was in her car so much and she was exhausted in the afternoons. Okay. And a lot of times it was because there was no place for her to stop to get lunch when she was traveling between clients. So she would just skip lunch. And so we worked together for a little bit and she made some shifts. And what she found is that the days that she's going to have to be on the road, she just packs some healthier meals and snacks so that in case there isn't any place to stop, she's not going to have to skip her meal. Okay. And she stopped experiencing that 3 p.m. energy crash and she had improved energy levels. So here's a pro tip. There are energy boosting foods that we're going to talk about in just a minute that you can easily add into your day and your week. All right. And I know we are all so busy. And if you're struggling with low energy, I know you want something simple that's going to give you a quick fix. So let's talk about those energy boosting foods real quickly. So you may not know this, but green and orange fruits and veggies are great for energy. They have potassium and magnesium as well as other vitamins and minerals and phytonutrients also. But some of the things that you can eat that are in this category are Swiss chard and spinach, acorn squash, butternut squash. Those are really good. Sweet potatoes, carrots, oranges, avocados, bananas. And one thing, you know, everybody thinks bananas have so much potassium, and they do have a good amount. However, avocados actually have more than bananas. And one other veggie is broccoli. That has a lot of magnesium, potassium too. Now, what are some time-saving tips for you to add these into your everyday life? Well, you can prepare them in advance. When you get home from the store, you can go ahead and chop them, put them in containers or baggies or whatever you like, and then you can use those to snack or to use as a side dish or throw in on salads, or save yourself some time. And I do this quite often. I'll buy already washed and chopped foods from the store. In fact, today, I made a soup and I used pre-cut butternut squash. Now, sometimes I'll buy the frozen bags of that and throw that into my soup, but I had some pre-cut that I was going to actually roast. I didn't have time to roast it. I knew it was starting to go bad. And I said, well, I'm just going to throw that into my soup. But you can also find bags of chopped like kale and spinach, carrots, even onions you can get. Stock up on the frozen veggies and fruit, like when they're on sale. I like to do that. I'll buy frozen and diced onions just to make it easier when I'm cooking meals, as well as like my carrots or sweet potatoes or green beans or butternut squash. And you're going to actually save more time, and when you're not having to chop and wash them. So don't feel bad about it. Remember, you might save money by buying them whole, and that's great if you have time. But if you don't have time, if you don't have energy for whatever reason, just buy the frozen or the prepared. And eventually your energy is going to come back using more of these strategies, and then you can go back to buying fresh and all. One thing you can do, and I like to do this as well, is make some extra sweet potatoes. You know, you can roast them, steam them, bake them, microwave them if you microwave, and then they'll store well in the fridge. I'll often do 2 or 3, and then the next day I'll pull out the cooked. I'll either scoop it out and eat it with some protein and a healthy fat, and I have a meal. You can also add them to like smoothies, and believe it or not, you won't even taste it. All right. Another food is nuts and also seeds. These are rich in iron, potassium, and magnesium. All of that's going to help boost your energy. A lot of times, especially women, when we are perimenopause or menopause, our iron levels, our stored iron, our ferritin levels, if you're losing your hair, that could be due to low ferritin levels. But all of that can cause us to have low energy and we're really tired. So boosting with some foods is a good way to help. And nuts and seeds replenish not just potassium and magnesium, but also the iron as well. And they have some protein, plus they do have some healthy fat, and that's going to give you steady energy, and it's going to help keep you fuller longer, so you're not starving and reaching for sugar or caffeine. Now, one caution, if you have any kind of autoimmune or digestive issues, you want to be cautious with nuts and seeds. Listen to your body. Sometimes they can bother you if you have autoimmune or digestive issues. So watch your portion control. And in fact, anybody needs to watch portion control with nuts and seeds, because all you need is a little bit and they're high in calories. Okay, here's some ways that you can add them in. You can just pack them into little tiny baggies or little containers and leave them in your car, as long as they're not chocolate covered. They're not going to go bad in your car even in the heat of the summer. Keep them in your desk if you're working away from home. And you can even sprinkle seeds on your nuts. Sprinkle nuts and seeds on your salad, on soups, in your yogurt, or even if you make a smoothie bowl, which is like a smoothie, but you just are pouring it into a bowl with like some cereal or some nuts and seeds. You can keep a jar of seed butter, like sunflower or pumpkin butter at work, or have that in your pantry. And sometimes just a quick spoonful can help give you a little bit more energy, so that you're not reaching for that caffeine and that sugar as well. All right, beans are another food that can supply some energy for you. They are a complex carbohydrate. They're not simple. So remember, we want complex carbohydrates because they're going to stay with us longer and they provide more nutrients. Beans also provide some protein, so that'll be good. And they contain fiber. And so they're going to be broken down slowly, digested slowly. So that's going to help you have more energy for longer, and you're going to be stable. It's not going to be up and down roller coaster like it is if you were to reach for caffeine or sugar. Just be cautious with beans if you have any kind of digestive issues and even some autoimmune issues. But if you do have any of the digestive issues, here are a few things you can do that can make them a little bit easier on your tummy. One, rinse beans the night before you need them. Basically you rinse them, you cover them in water, put that in the fridge the next morning, pour out the water, rinse a few times, and then you can start cooking. That will also help reduce your cooking time. Another idea is you can add a little bit of baking soda with the water when soaking. That'll help take away some of the enzymes that can cause some of the flatulence that's causing some discomfort. You can take some digestive enzymes with them if that will help. Or if you do have some GI issues right now, you may have to stay away from beans until you heal, and then you can introduce them again later. So here are a couple of time-saving tips for adding beans. You can use canned beans. Garbanzo or I think the other name for them is cannellini. Those are easy to add to salads and stews and soups. And on the weekend, or you can make up a big batch of beans, or if you have an Instant Pot or a slow cooker, it's easy to make a big batch as well. All right, another food that you can use that provides energy are whole grains. Like beans, they are a complex carbohydrate and they contain fiber and nutrients and will help give you more energy and help you remain with that stable energy that we're looking for. Now, please note, when I'm talking about whole grains, I'm not talking about processed white flour or even the processed wheat flour. The problem with those is they will cause a quick energy rise, which is because they are turning into sugar, and then that's going to cause you to crash, okay? And then because it's moving quickly through your digestive system. So we're going to go over some better examples in just a minute. But if you use the white flour or even just some of the processed wheat that's out there, that's just going to cause you to have more cravings. So you can make up some extra grains or rice, wild rice, brown rice. Those are a little bit healthier than the white rice out there. You can make it up ahead of time, and you can keep it in your fridge for about 4 or 5 days. You can even freeze it in small portions and just pull out what you need throughout the day. If you work away from home, that makes it a lot easier to take some with you. You can put a pot of grains on the stove to cook in the morning, and it'll be ready by dinner, or cook it the night before. Or you can use your Instant Pot, or you can use your slow cooker, and that'll be easy as well. And I have a great recipe I'm going to share for lemony spring quinoa. Quinoa is a good whole grain, and it actually contains some protein, so it's not just a complex carb. And so this is a picture of it, and I'll share this with you, but it contains not just the whole grains, but it has some green veggies, some beans and nuts. So it has a whole lot of energy boosting foods in one, and it's pretty good eaten hot or cold. And you can even you can add some diced chicken, which I like as well. Okay, the last food that can really provide energy is animal protein. And so, like fish and beef and chicken and turkey, all of those, as well as eggs and yogurt, and then the beans, all of those are linked to higher levels of dopamine. And that's a brain chemical that can play a role in your mood, motivation, your concentration. It's just going to make you feel happier and more stable as far as your mood and all. Animal protein is going to be broken down slowly, so that's going to keep your energy level stable, because it also keeps your blood sugar levels stable. It doesn't go through your digestive system quickly. And so that's why you won't have a energy crash and a blood sugar crash. And that's one reason why I talk all the time about, with any kind of meal or snack, put some kind of protein with it, okay? Now, some people are vegetarian or just like to eat more vegetarian type of meals. Eggs and yogurt can be a great source of protein. And there are dairy-free yogurts as well, which is, what I have to eat. I will tell you, though, that people who are strictly vegetarian and they don't eat any kind of animal protein at all, they often are low in B vitamins, especially B6 and B12. And the B vitamins are really good for energy production and for mood stabilization. So if you can eat animal protein, I would recommend that you try that, especially if you're having a lot of fatigue. Of course, check with your own doctor as well. But I don't have anything against eating vegetarian. It's just if you're very fatigued, you might be missing some of those B vitamins. And so if you are, then you're going to need to focus more on nuts and seeds and some beans as well. All right, what are some time-saving tips for adding in protein? Well, you've probably heard this before, but I believe in this so highly. You cook once, eat twice. And I have to say, I'm so excited. My kids are doing this as well. They're home, they're working, and so they've been cooking more, and so they can eat on it during the week as well. But this is such a big time saver. And whether you keep it refrigerated for later in the week or whether you put it in small portions and freeze it, if you don't like leftovers day after day, but it's a great option. It just makes it easier, especially if you're fatigued. You're cooking once and then you don't have to cook for a couple of days, which is really great. That's what I love to do. Another thing is, go ahead and prep your protein in advance. If you're firing up the grill on the weekend or another day, go ahead and grill your chicken and do some burgers. You could do some fish. You can do several proteins and eat like the ones that would be better eaten fresh, like fish. And then you can save the chicken and the burgers, for another day. But you can also roast extra chicken and have that on hand. Use your weekends if those are your less busy times. And that way, during the week, you're going to make it a lot easier on yourself. And if you don't feel like cooking, it's okay. You can find healthier options even at the grocery. Pick up a rotisserie chicken and you can eat on that for a few days for an easy protein. You can buy canned salmon or canned chicken. Just read your ingredient labels as well. There's some healthier sliced deli meats, and those you can cut up. You can use on a sandwich. You can put in a salad. I've even bought it where it's thicker chunks, and I've diced it up and used it in dishes, for time convenience. Okay, so here are some, and I've talked about these, but here are some different types of foods. So what's one that you think you could add easily, to your plate? Let's, look at the orange ones, and the orange fruits and veggies. You've got the green fruits and veggies, nuts, seeds, beans, whole grains, animal protein, yogurt, and eggs. If you haven't been using any of these, then just plan on adding one of these this week, and that's going to save you some time, and that's going to also create a little bit more variety in your diet. And so, you might be thinking you don't have time to cook these and work them into your meals, or you don't know what to buy, or you don't know what to do, how to prepare them, right? But the good news is you can do it quickly and easily. If you've never done it before, you just begin slowly, okay? And remember, at the end, I'm going to, those of you who are still here, I'm going to send you my recipe book about easy and delicious energy boosting recipes. So that'll help give you a few new ideas as well. And part of what I do as a health coach is I show my clients how to easily incorporate these foods into their diets. And usually as clients start to try new foods, this is one of the areas that they really do speak highly about. They think that I'm going to make their life more difficult, but instead I make it easier because I teach them how to simplify meal planning, shopping, and cooking so they can save time and energy in the long run. All right, the third offender is having coffee for breakfast. Okay, now for all of you coffee drinkers out there, whether you're live or you're watching this by replay, please don't turn me off right now. Okay, I'm going to explain further how you can have your coffee, but what we're going to do with it so it'll make it a little bit better for your energy level. So, who is a coffee drinker? I know there's only a few of you who are here live, but if you are a coffee drinker, just give me a Y in the chat box if you want to. Like I told you at the beginning, I don't like the taste of coffee. I never have. I've tried it, but I love the smell of it. It just smells very good. And, part of it is besides the taste, it causes me to have stomach pain. But I do like my caffeinated hot tea that I drink in the morning. So that's one thing that I do as well. But I know most of my friends do like coffee. They love to drink it. Even my children drink it and all. I just happen not to. Okay, somebody said you need the morning energy with your coffee and you like the taste and you like the smell. Okay, well, hang in there. I'm going to tell you what you can do so you can keep drinking your coffee. But before I do that, when we start the day with just coffee on a completely empty stomach, it's going to set off this spike and quick crash of energy. All right. You're going to get that quick energy boost from the caffeine, but it's going to be followed by a crash a few hours later by mid-morning. And so, I don't want you to have the energy and then to crash. And then if you're full because you've drunk a big old cup of coffee or even a mug of coffee, then you're going to have inconsistent energy the whole day. And one of the worst things is we create an elevated cortisol level, which compromises our adrenal health. Now, your adrenal glands are small glands. They're located on the top of your kidneys, and they produce hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, and that helps you cope with stress and helps you regulate your energy levels during the day. And if you're in the midst of any kind of hormonal issues, perimenopause, menopause, if you have thyroid, if you have any kind of autoimmune issues, keeping a stable adrenal health is key. You want your adrenals to be functioning optimally, okay? And you may have to get some testing for that, but that's more for another day. Now, if you have the, let me know, or if you don't want to post it, that's fine too. But just think about this. Have you experienced this energy high and then the crash? I know I've seen it in clients that I've talked to when we first gotten together, and they say they get a big energy in the morning, but by mid-morning they crash, okay? They have that kind of wired feeling. They have the energy, but then all of a sudden it seems like it plummets. So here's the easy solution. Eat breakfast with your coffee, okay? Don't just have coffee by itself. Now, I've had clients tell me this, and you may be thinking this, Leah, I just don't love eating that early in the morning, okay? I've heard this before, right? And I don't really like to eat something first thing in the morning either. But what you can do is start with something very small. I'm not talking about a huge breakfast at all. I'm just talking about having something small. Even if it's a few crackers or a little piece of toast, you can use gluten-free as well. Or maybe you could have one egg, whether that's hard-boiled or you, do like a scramble, or even if you like to fry an egg, do that. Or maybe a light turkey sausage, which turkey sausage is not greasy. Sometimes people are like, I just can't stand the thought of bacon and regular sausage that early in the morning. Or you could even use a half a cup of yogurt and some berries and have that with your coffee. Or wait to have coffee until you're eating a full breakfast. Okay, and somebody said, I always eat breakfast with coffee. Awesome. Okay, you are a step ahead of the game. That is going to help prevent the energy crash because you're going to have the jolt from the caffeine, and then you're going to have the food, which is going to help keep your energy stable. So that's awesome. And if you really want to bump it up even more of a notch, here's a pro tip. You can add a clean, healthy collagen or protein powder, add a scoop of that with your coffee or even your hot tea. Now, one thing that I have recently been reading about, and because I've done both animal protein powders and I've done like a pea protein, kind of a vegan protein powder, is that the collagen, while it's good for our skin, our hair, our nails, and our bones to a certain extent, the animal protein powder is better because it's going to provide all of the amino acids, whereas collagen does not provide all of them. Okay, so you may want to look at that if you are having any kind of bone issues, any kind of hair or skin. You may want to choose the protein powder and not just collagen, although I use both and I have several brands that I recommend to clients. Another option is in your coffee. I know a lot of people have learned how to drink it black. I know that's the way my husband does, but in order to give it a little bit more of a blood sugar regularity and energy regularity, keep all that stable, is to add some cream. You can use dairy if you tolerate that. Do a full fat. Don't do the half or the 1% or even 2%. Use the whole milk or cream. Or for non-dairy, they do have like a coconut, which is a full fat. And those are just going to help keep you fuller longer and give you more energy as well. Okay, here's another story from a client, Taylor. So she was kind of stuck in this energy spike and crash cycle. She would start the day with a huge coffee. I mean, she had, like, y'all see my Yeti here. This one isn't even the biggest you can get. She had a Yeti this big. She filled it with coffee going to work and all. And so she didn't really have an appetite for breakfast, right? Now, it worked for a while until all of a sudden it didn't, because she realized by the afternoon she was totally exhausted and she couldn't seem to lose the menopausal weight gain. She thought, oh, I'm not eating breakfast, I'm intermittent fasting, which I'm not opposed to, but she thought that's going to help me with my weight. Well, it backfired on her, and basically she just kind of tanked her adrenal health. So she was so tired all the time and her weight was not moving at all. So we worked together privately, and she started incorporating a little bit of food with her coffee. First she just had a hard-boiled egg. Then she added some berries. Then she liked avocado, so she made some toast. And like I said before, you can use gluten-free toast or crackers if you're gluten-free. And she spread, she mashed up about a half of an avocado and put that on there. And she found that it really helped keep her energy levels very high. And, she just had more productivity in her life, and she just didn't have that afternoon slump and all. Now, she thought it was going to be tough, so we took baby steps, but she lost the jitters in the morning, and she also was able to lose a little bit of weight. So, have you tried to increase your energy, but then whatever you try, it seems like nothing seems to last? Well, it might be because you need to look at all 6 of the puzzle pieces that we talked about, and you might need some extra help. So let's go over the 6 puzzle pieces again. Right? We haven't had time. We're not going to have time to cover every single thing, but we have talked about some of them. And then just to remind you, here are some of the others. So having daily habits that are nourishing, balancing your blood sugar, we've talked about both of those, addressing your adrenal health and or medical or health conditions you might have, giving your body the exercise that's right for it, having effective ways to de-stress, and getting quality sleep. So if you're ready to boost your energy, then I want you to know that I am offering a In the Fatigue and Get Your Energy Back breakthrough session, where we can look at some of your hidden causes of your fatigue that you might not really be aware of. Sometimes when we're in it ourselves, it's kind of hard to figure out what's going on. And one thing that I do when I work with clients is I kind of look at some of those patterns and kind of get an intake on you, and then together we figure out what are some of the things, and we get a vision with some strategies that can help you get some of your energy back. So I would love to help you out. Normally I charge about $100 for it, but because you're here today, I'm going to offer it to you for free. This link, and I put it in the chat at the beginning, this calendly.com/Leah-NYL. You can go there, and I have some sessions that I've already put in there that you can book a time with me. And if you don't want to do that, and you're not techie at all, you can just reply to an email or even message me, and I'll be glad to talk to you about that and all. But if you're wanting to handle your stress better and be patient with yourself and everybody else, try to help you think clearer and be more productive and enjoy your life and have more energy, then I really would love for you to take me up on this offer. And so today we talked about the 6 culprits that are robbing you of your energy, and we went into some details on some of them. We talked about a simple strategy you can implement immediately to avoid that 3 p.m. crash. We talked about some fast ways to increase your energy without caffeine or even supplements. I talked in detail about 5 energy boosting food categories and gave you some ideas about that, as well as how to improve the quality of your sleep so that you can wake up feeling refreshed and all. So what's your next step? You might say, well, I'm going to start eating something with my coffee if you haven't been. And even if you have been eating something with your coffee, you might want to look and see, have you been eating enough? Or if you want something small with your coffee at first, and then maybe in an hour, eat a little bit more. It might be that you just need some more of the healthy foods to give you that energy so that you're not reaching for caffeine, reaching for sugar, reaching for some of those tempting foods. Or another step is when you get my recipe guide, which I'll send out by tomorrow, you might want to try one of those. That's a great step. Or say you haven't been doing an outside walk in the morning or anytime. You might say, well, heck, I'm going to do that, Leah. Or add a bedtime routine, maybe get some blue light glasses or turn off all those electronics an hour before bed. And the other thing you can do is join me for a breakthrough session like I talked about. I would love to talk to you about that and help you figure out what's going on and how you can better help yourself. And so I will be sending out tomorrow to those of you who were live here. I'm going to send you this recipe guide as well. And that way you can look at them and hopefully you can start implementing them this week. So I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Here's the link to sign up for that breakthrough session. Look for your free gift in the replay tomorrow. And if you have any questions, you can just message me or reply to one of the emails. And if I can help you in the future, please reach out to me. I'd love to do that. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, but for those of you who are here, we can, I'll be happy to answer some questions as well. All right, so somebody's saying the link is not opening. All right. Well, you know what? I will message that to you when we get off of this meeting call, and so that you can check that out. I apologize for that. But you know what I'm going to also do is I'll include that in your email tomorrow as well, that link, and I'll message it to you today. But that way, so you can see what times I have opening as well. I'm sorry about that. I don't know why. I've checked it, and so that's kind of odd. But let me stop this and stop the recording. But those of you who are here, we can definitely keep on. Let's see, we can keep on talking.